You guys ready for this one?
Sick.
Sure. Let's go.
We got this tweet from Jack Posobiec. Did someone film a Chinese girl and AI filter her white to make this video that's trending all over TikTok? I want to play this video for you guys. You may have seen it, and maybe I shouldn't zoom in like that. We can get you more of the video. Let me play this video for you. Well, we don't need any of the sound. It's just a song. So for those that are just listening, you have this young white girl looking at a wedding ring, and every time she puts her finger through it, she gets a vision of her being a housewife and being miserable, and she hates it. And then she takes the ring off and she scurries away. So there it is again. She puts her finger in, and then she's washing dishes. Then she puts her finger in, and then she's folding laundry. Now, Jack Posobiec is saying, did they put it on a Chinese girl? Why? Well, first, if you look at, if you pause in some of the clips, you can see, let me see, here on this shirt, the writing appears to be Chinese. There's a couple different instances where the writing appears to be Chinese. And in fact, behind her, it looks like there are Chinese people. And the reason why the conspiracy theory here, I believe most people are saying, I don't know about an AI filter. You don't need to do that. You can just get a white person who lives in China. Mm-hmm. But the argument is they are trying to attack family values. They're trying to attack marriage and the family in the West. And this is on TikTok. TikTok is not in China. They have their own version of TikTok. This is another component of, if your kids are on TikTok, they're being indoctrinated with content that tells them to hate being in a family, not wanting to be a mother. And this is exactly it. But this content appears to have originated in China.
Right. And this just goes against what you were saying before about how World War III would be fought. If you're dealing with China, you're dealing with the United States, you're dealing with a country that's trying to undermine our own values while also obviously being perhaps light years ahead of us in terms of the technology that they have. So, this is just another front on the information warfare that we're seeing between China and the United States, and undermining our own values, undermining what it means to be a woman, obviously.
Yeah.
And
attacking the family.
Attacking the family, really getting to the core of it.
Look how miserable they make her look. Like she hates it. She's cleaning things and she hates having kids.
Right. I think it's sad that they're taking this moment like she's getting an engagement ring, right? That's supposed to be exciting. You're with someone you love. And instead it's like, if you take this, you're basically getting handcuffed to a life that you'll hate. And that's just so cruel to take something that's actually supposed to be nice.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I think part of it too is making it seem like they're not showing you the other side of this. Like she wants to be alone and still cleaning her house. Like some of these things you do anyways, you would rather do them miserably? I don't really understand what their counter argument is.
I mean, I'm interested in knowing whether this is actually a real actor or AI. I mean,
I don't think it's AI.
You don't think so?
I mean, it very well could be. I mean, AI is getting crazy.
It is.
I think
if this is AI,
it's
pretty
face change.
I don't think it's even a face change. It's like the hair. I mean, you literally just look. She may be Eastern European. Let's talk about how this refugee from war comes. They say, hey, come to China. We'll take care of you. Or quite literally, there are white people who live in China. Mm-hmm. They could just be like, hey, you want to do this? The crazy thing about this is you need to consider this is a heavy production. How many? Let's see how many costumes there are. 1, 2. Let's see, 3. We saw that one. 4. 4 costumes so far.
It's a high budget.
Looking at the ring, decent. I mean, not super high budget, but she's got 5.
Who made
and
this?
It looks like
who made this again?
Funny Vlog 89. 6 costumes and a pregnant belly, and so it looks like 6 costumes in total. On what appears to be probably 6 different sets. Mm-hmm. This propaganda is, I think this is a component of 5th generational warfare. The conspiracy theory, I suppose, is that China is trying to attack rip us apart from the inside because there is a real concern that we're going to war at some point and they want us off base, falling over, etc.
Mm-hmm. Plus, they sense we're weak. I mean, we're not projecting strength right now on the international stage with Biden. So, yeah, it's right up their alley. It's. I mean, you would expect them to do something like this. You'd expect them to do more of this, given how weak we are currently as a country. But the
thing is, even if it's not AI, even if this isn't a Chinese production, it's still incredibly sad that our culture is now villainizing marriage on their own, right? Like maybe it started, maybe some of the influence of like anti-family propaganda came from somewhere else, but if it was just a regular girl who made this on her own, like that's still not a great sign.
I know, it goes to show the scope of the psyoping and how many people are buying into this.
She takes the wedding ring off and's like, nope. And it's like, damn.
Like I'm the last guy I'm not in any way like a conservative when it comes or a Puritan kind of person. Like
feels really cool, guys.
It has nothing to do with being cool. It has to do with like not talking smack and then people being like, well, yeah, but what about when you were a drunk moron 10 years ago? That's more what it is. I'm covering my butt. But like, your society is based on, like, all societies are based on families first. It's okay to have like a different lifestyle and not want to have a traditional lifestyle, but your society absolutely should promote traditional lifestyles. There's nothing wrong with being like, yo, men and women should get married and have kids, because that's how we continue our society. And as much as there's a lot of people out there that are screaming about the overpopulation, and worries about the climate change and stuff, if I understand correctly, the fact that so many societies are getting so old now, like China and the U.S. is going to be a pretty old society, and you're having that happen throughout Europe. The birth rates are so low that we don't have to worry about population or overpopulation. There's going to be a population collapse coming. Right. I've been listening to a lot of videos, and there are people that are talking about by the end of the century, the world global population could be cut in half. Well, and that means that's fewer people that are getting fed properly. That means fewer people that are working on like innovations and working on things that'll help progress society and make life better for people. So the idea that we have to limit how many people we have being born, or that we shouldn't support or we shouldn't encourage families and stuff, that's ridiculous, and it's anti-human in my opinion.
Well, and I think part of what she's objecting to, right, that like when you get married, you may have to take care of your house, or you may have children that have needs. Like, I don't think it's actually wrong to acknowledge that some of those aspects of life are probably hard, and you're lonely if you're a young mom at times. Like, there are things that we can acknowledge being a sacrifice that are still worth it. And you're saying, we have aging populations, but they aren't reproducing children. So she's saying, oh, I don't want to get married and take care of a house and kids. Like, she's definitely not going to want to take care of her aging parents, right? Like, we are breeding a culture that says, my needs and my wants in the moment are more important than anything else. And the idea that I may have to at times do things I don't want to is completely repugnant to me.
All right. And that's why birth rates are at all-time lows across the West. I mean, in the United States, we're obviously having to replace our native-born population with people from the third world crossing the Mexican border. So, the bottom line is, you're not going to have a society that can't reproduce, that can't replace itself.
They try really hard with this idea of social constructivism. Phil, is it constructivism or
social constructions? Yeah. So like the idea that human beings make up most of the things that we do.
Yeah,
like
blank slates.
Yeah, they're
and so what they do is they try to push on guys, stop being like a guy, and on girls, start being like a guy, and this results in less families. So when it's funny when they talk about the population collapse that's coming. There was this viral story which was really interesting. There was a defense contractor put together this document that said in a few years there would be something like 30% of the global population would be reduced, or some ridiculous number. And then they deleted it and got rid of it, and everyone was like, why did they publish that? What is that all about? Some people thought it was talking about war. It may just be that, not necessarily in the next couple of years, but the next couple of generations are going to have dramatically less people. I mean, like the birth rates are dropping rapidly over time. What I think we end up seeing is, in response to this, you can create social pressures that stop people from getting married, finding girlfriends, finding boyfriends, having kids, but the desires within people don't change. You end up with women who are severely depressed, probably because what do women want? There's probably internal feelings to them that are family oriented, like just men have the same thing, but they're told basically to suppress that. Like these videos, like, don't get married, don't have a family. She's got a baby and she's looking miserable, like having a kid is bad. But people are rejecting this. What we end up seeing now is we got 12th grade boys. I guess once you get 12th grade, you're about to be a man, and they're becoming overwhelmingly conservative. You get the rise of personalities like Andrew Tate, obviously, promoting masculinity, Jordan Peterson, because no matter what they try to do to suppress it, you can't rip that out of a human being.
Seems like an indoctrination video. I mean, we should be promoting having a family. That should be the flex.
Yes, absolutely.
And being feminine. And this is promoting being masculine. And, you know,
Well, someone should make an inverse video of this where it's like a depressed looking woman and she like goes for a beer, and then when she drinks it, it shows her just like absolutely miserable at home with like some cats. And then she puts it down, and then she looks over and there's a ring, and she puts her finger on it. It shows like her smiling with a kid, and they're laughing and they're popping champagne and all that good family stuff.
There was a reason why like mommy vloggers, lifestyle vloggers of like young Mormon women who typically get married, you know, much younger than the average American, were so popular. They led that industry for a long time. It's because that's actually what's aspirational to a lot of women, right? They want family. They want to feel like they are beloved and that they are beautiful and that they have an important role in life that predominantly for most women is at home. And I don't think that's bad. I think that's why you have to have videos like this that are like, well, when you're married, you have to clean, and that's bad.
Right.
Like, get over it.
I would hope more and more people are beginning to wake up and see these videos and see it as absurd for what it is, and, you know, see it more as parody than something that they're actually subscribing to and believing. I know there was a recent study that came out this past week showing that more and more young people, especially people under the age of 18, men, are identifying as conservative than ever before. Although on the other side of the spectrum, more women are self-identified as liberal. So,
but I think that'll change. I think
I
think the women are
seems
going
like
to be
propaganda
pulled towards
is
the men.
having quite an effect though on women, on young women.
And it's because I think women are more susceptible to social pressures than
Absolutely.
men. But that also means that if men are more object-oriented and women are more subject-oriented, men wanting goals and missions, still, of course, wanting girlfriends, if these young women want to get relationships, it's going to have to be them going to the guys and then accepting the guys as they are, which is conservative values. And that's why I think we see women become more conservative when they get married. Some say there's no correlation is not causation, and that conservative women are more likely to get married. That's why you see married women are conservative. But I actually think, we've gone over this before, there is data showing that when women, pre-marriage, they're expressing liberal things, then they get married, then later on they're expressing more conservative things, probably because their life changed, they made some realizations, they've experienced things. I think that also will lend itself to these young liberal women. They're not going to want to be single. They're going to want to have relationships. And these young guys are focused on their mission and their goals. They're watching their meme videos. They're watching their Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson. They're looking at Trump. And so these young women are going to have to be like, well, I can go and insult him and tell him no, but he's going to be like, I got no time for this. I'm busy. Or they're going to have to come around to the guy's point of view, as they seem to do traditionally.
Right. I mean, from a political perspective, the society is basically a compilation of a bunch of families. So, you know, if you can't preserve the family, if you can't build up the family, your society is going to collapse within a generation, which is what we're seeing. So, you know, from a policy standpoint, this should concern, you know, if our lawmakers, if our ruling class was truly concerned about the future of the country, obviously this would be a first order political issue that they'd be
they don't care.
Trying to resolve. Obviously, we're far beyond that point, but you know, at some point we're going to have to fix the problem. Otherwise, we're no longer going to have a country, which basically on the precipice right now.
I think that's a reality, and I think a component of what's causing the inner conflict in the U.S. may be our foreign enemies. It's been a meme. They said Trump was working for the Russians. That's nonsense. But there's discussion about Russia and China sowing discontent on our social media. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.